Okay, so almost everyone knows by now that Apple is actually working on a car. And you probably have the three following questions. Number one, how will it look like? Number two, when will it release? And number three, what features will it have? Well, in terms of the design, we need to remember that Apple has zero experience in manufacturing cars, which means that they will need to partner up with an actual car manufacturer. Numerous reports over the years have been saying that Apple is in talks with Hyundai to manufacture their car. But more recent reports are saying that the talks failed, mostly due to Hyundai confirming the discussions with Apple to the media, which Apple wanted to keep all private. Okay, this video is sponsored by Anchor, who have now launched the Nebula Cosmos Max and the Nebula Capsule projectors. The Cosmos Max is a 4K projector with Android TV support, so it's perfect for living rooms and homes, whereas the Capsule is significantly smaller, so it is perfect for when you're traveling, and it has a built-in battery, so you can cast content directly from your phone. We are doing a giveaway of the Nebula Capsule, so make sure to follow us on Instagram and leave a comment on this video saying how you would actually use it alongside your Instagram handle. And now, back to the video. Apple also approached other car manufacturers, including Nissan, but those talks apparently went even worse than with Hyundai, as Nissan wanted more recognition for building Apple's car, whereas Apple simply wanted a hardware manufacturer. They didn't want to have a Nissan-branded car running Apple's software, which was apparently what Nissan wanted. But then something interesting happened. According to Mark Gurman, Apple has recently been in talks with Foxconn to manufacture their car. Which is strange, as Foxconn doesn't have any experience with manufacturing cars, but Apple does already have a strong relationship with Foxconn, as they already manufacture Apple's iPhones, iPads, and Macs. And with the right people, Foxconn could theoretically manufacture Apple's car. Now, aside from Foxconn, Apple has also been in talks with LG Magna E Powertrain. Yes, this is the actual name of the company. I'm not even making this up. It's essentially a collaboration between LG and Magna International, which is a Canadian company that manufactures automotive electronics. And together with LG, they would manufacture various electric car components, including the drivetrain. Apple is looking for a very specific drivetrain, so something similar to Hyundai's eGMP electric vehicle platform with 2 motors, a 5-link rear suspension, and an integrated drive axle. And they're now looking at Foxconn and LG Magna for manufacturing it. But okay, this is all really boring. You want to see an actual design, right? Well, according to Mark Gurman, Apple is considering a design very similar to the lifestyle vehicle from Canoo. Okay, I mean, I can't say that this looks bad. It definitely looks unique, but it also looks like a minivan, and I was under the impression that Apple would build something like, I don't know, a luxurious sport car, or was that just me? Well, we'll get into why Apple's car might look like this when we talk about the features, but for now, this is indeed a design that they are considering. The thing is that in the more recent years, Apple has decided to go for a more unique look in a lot of their products, even if that unique look doesn't always translate into the best look. Take the iPhone's notch, for example. Not a best look, but definitely a memorable one. Or the iMac's chin, or the new MacBook Pro's notch. You get the idea. Apple could have easily designed products with no notches and no unnecessarily large chins if they really wanted to, but they decided against that in order to make their product stand out from the rest of the competition. Which is why I believe that whatever Apple car design Apple eventually goes for, it will 100% stand out from the rest, kind of like how the Cybertruck does, just hopefully not in a truck form factor. Okay, so now let's talk about the release date. According to multiple sources, the Apple Car project officially started back in 2014 under the codename Project Titan. However, the idea of Apple building a car was actually something that even Steve Jobs was interested in, with reports saying that he met with Brian Thompson, the industrial designer behind the V-Vehicle car, a car with a very unique look. This was back in 2010, 4 years before the project officially started. However, Tony Fadell, who led Apple's iPod division between 2001 and 2010, he said that Steve was even considering building an Apple car back in 2008. Only that he gave the idea up to focus on the iPhone instead. Okay, so Apple has been interested in a car for more than a decade now. But according to multiple reports, including one from Mark Gurman, the earliest we could see an Apple car would be 2025, with a prototype planned for 2024. This is apparently Apple's goal, and they have been hiring like madmen, especially as of recent, and they have over 1,000 people actively working on this. But even 2025 is looking quite unlikely. And that's because Apple will first have to solve a lot of the issues in regards to the brains powering the car, and more about that once we get to the features. And second, the Apple Car project got cancelled quite a few times already, with multiple reshufflings over the years, so it is quite likely that Apple will once again run into some more step disagreements and more setbacks with its project. This is aside from the fact that 4 years before its launch, Apple still doesn't have a contract in place with a manufacturer. However, I do actually have some good news here. Apparently, Apple is considering the first version of this car as sort of an experiment. They first want to see how many people would be interested in, an Apple car before committing to a large-scale worldwide production. Which means that working with small-scale manufacturers like LG Magna and Foxconn would still allow them to have a 2025 release date, as Apple won't be targeting their car at a global market. And not only that, but according to Mark Gurman, Apple plans on manufacturing their car entirely in the US. So similar to the new Mac Pro. And speaking of the US, I actually predict that the Apple car would only be available to purchase in the US, at least at first. And the main reason for this being its features. Multiple reports claim that Apple has finally made up their mind in terms of what they want this car to be. And no, it won't be a package that you attach to a regular car to make it smart, like some of the original reports, nor will it be a semi-autonomous vehicle, but instead, Apple plans to make this the world's first fully autonomous car, a car that would not require any human input at all. In fact, Mark Gurman's report even claims that Apple is considering not including a steering wheel or pedals at all, and that the interior of the car would be fully designed with this idea of having no input from the driver at all. Okay, now at the beginning of this video, I briefly mentioned Anker's new Cosmos Max projector, and now I want to show you 5 reasons why you might want it. Number 1, this is a 4K projector. Turns out that there's not many 4K projectors out there, but this is one of them. Number 2, you can scale up the image to a massive 150-inch. We scaled it until it covered our entire wall, and I gotta say, even at that size, the image was still impressively sharp, just as sharp or maybe even a bit sharper than at an actual cinema. Number 3, it will automatically correct the image if it detects any distortion. Number 4, it has a built-in 360-degree speaker with Dolby Digital Plus support, and the sound is powerful enough that even if you don't have any other speakers, it would do just fine. And number 5, it runs on Android TV, which means support for over 7,000 apps, all of your favorite streaming services, as well as Google Assistant support and casting directly from your phone. Check it out by using the link below, and don't forget about our Nebula capsule giveaway. And now, back to the video. Oh, and if you're worried about this whole self-driving aspect, Mark Gurman did state that Apple is considering adding some sort of emergency takeover mode just in case something does go wrong. According to this report, the interior is also said to be inspired by Canu's lifestyle vehicle, with seats that will allow the passengers to face each other and therefore allow for more room inside the car. There is also said to be an iPad-like tablet in the middle, which would act like an entertainment hub, but Mark Gurman hasn't really specified how this would work. Like, would we get multiple iPads so that every angle is covered, or just a single large iPad on some sort of platform that can rotate? But even then, there will be people that wouldn't be able to see the screen depending on where they're sitting. So when I first heard about this, I had some mixed feelings, because from the looks of it, Apple's car won't be a traditional car in any way, but rather an autonomous minivan that can take you and a bunch of other people from place to place. And this is why I said that I don't see this being available outside the US, at least not with the first model, as even semi-self-driving vehicles today are still in their infancy when it comes to regulations and the level of autonomy that they can legally have. Okay, so a full self-driving car, which we all know is a very difficult thing to achieve. Tesla is still struggling with this, even Google with their Waymo, so how will Apple be able to do it? Well, according to a couple of sources, Apple will be using both cameras as well as LiDAR for the most accurate mapping possible. They're already in talks with 4 different suppliers of LiDAR modules, as they want to see who can provide them with the best and also the most affordable modules, which of course for a car would also need to have far greater range than on an iPad or on an iPhone. And then all of this gathered data is said to be analyzed by a custom Apple-designed chip, the most powerful one that Apple has ever developed to date. This is said to be designed by Johnny Cerrugi's team, so the same team that brought us the insanely powerful M1 Max chip inside the new MacBook Pros. But this chip is said to be on a totally different level. It's said to be loaded with neural processors, far more than the 16-core neural engine that the latest M1 chips have. And according to Mark Gurman, this thing would run hot. So hot that Apple's working on a very sophisticated cooling system for it. All this in order to provide us with the most advanced self-driving experience ever. At least that's the idea. Speaking of experience, the Apple Car is also set to integrate heavily with the iPhone, the Apple Watch, as well as Apple's other services like Apple Music, Apple Maps, and of course, Apple CarPlay. Now, since this is an electric car, the range is of course very important. And according to a report from Reuters, Apple is allegedly working on a new type of batteries. A monocell battery design that would remove pouches and the different modules that hold the batteries together in order to allow for larger capacities and longer range. However, Michiko states that Apple is currently planning on having over 500 kilometers of range, or just over 310 miles on a single charge, which would put it in about the same range as a Tesla Model 3. So yeah, I know that doesn't really seem that impressive. However, Apple is apparently going to add an insanely fast charging, up to 80% in just 18 minutes, which has never been done before in an electric car. This would of course require some special charging stations. However, reports are saying that Apple plans on supporting the combined charging system, which is a universal charging standard that most of the other electric car companies already support. And this means that you won't have to take your Apple Car to an Apple charging station, as it would work pretty much anywhere. It's just that using it at an Apple charging station would translate into a much faster charge. Which makes me realize that I have one more question to ask and answer, which is, can Apple actually do all of this? Well, I have no doubt that it can 100% create the chip that's required to analyze all the data from their large number of sensors. I'm also very certain that with enough time, they can train the neural networks to act more responsibly than a human driver can. Apple has already been testing self-driving vehicles since 2017 by equipping 60 Lexus RX 450h SUVs with loads of sensors and cameras, and they've been testing those cars on a daily basis since, but only in California. In different areas of the US and the world with more severe weather conditions like snow that would actually cover street signs, that's where the whole self-driving concept becomes more difficult. But give them enough time and training, and I'm pretty sure that Apple's neural nets will be able to achieve this. I think that the main obstacle would honestly not be the technology, but rather the regulations to approve such a car on the streets. This is something that even Tesla is constantly having issues with. Now, Apple is Apple, and they have managed to make some gigantic changes in the tech industry before, like removing the headphone jack or adopting USB Type-C early on the MacBooks, with the entire industry then following suit. But will they be able to do this again with cars? I guess only time will tell. And definitely tell me in the comments, what do you guys think about this Apple Car? And definitely subscribe if you have enjoyed this video and you want to see more Leaks and Rumors episodes. I'm Daniel, this has been ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.